It is Tuesday, which of course means it is time for me to answer the questions that you guys send in every single week on the YouTube comment section or over at the forums, BrendenPlayz.com/forums. But of course, this week, we even have some Twitter questions coming in hot, so some tweets. We've been getting them this week, and normally I don't like to use the Twitter tweets because it's a little bit hard for me to track the questions, but we've got a couple that I thought were pretty good, so we're going to answer them today. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, the first one comes from HBK for the win. What did you think of the Raw reunion show? Look, I really enjoyed this week's Raw, probably because of the reasons that don't really look very promising for the future of the WWE, and that's because it was great seeing the legends on. I mean, we had Hulk Hogan come out and do his usual thing. We had Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels there as well, which is always nice to see, and they were kind of doing their little thing there. Nothing too much there, but that was nice. But, of course, one of the big highlights of the show, I thought, was definitely seeing the NWO and the D-Generation X and Road Dogg and Billy Gunn coming out as well. That was a bit of a treat, and of course the APA, I should say, coming out, and yeah, some really good reactions for some of these guys, and that really, I think, made me more interested seeing these big reactions for these guys. I mean, when JBL took off his shirt and, you know, APA teaser, and then Ron Simmons came out and a big pop, and I was pumped, man. I really had some fun. I had some fun watching the show. But there were some low points where I think it was like 80 minutes between, you know, it was one match and like 80 minutes or something. So there was a lack of wrestling on the show, but whatever. I mean, you know, it is what it is. It's Monday Night Raw nowadays. It's barely wrestling. It's mainly just storyline. And to me, that's not a big issue. I mean, I do like the storyline progressions and the talking segments, and I think for the most part, in your go-home show, you don't really need to do a lot of wrestling, so to say, to kind of sell the pay-per-view, because, you know, you want to try and keep these guys apart. I know they should have been doing in other areas to sell the big Rumble match. I mean, I don't know why they didn't do the whole big Rumble spot where everyone's coming in and beating each other up, you know, like they normally do, or some kind of little Battle Royal teaser or something like that, just to warm you up for the Royal Rumble. They didn't do something like that. So they didn't really do a very good job of selling the Royal Rumble match itself, but they did a great job in selling the main event, and they kind of just did that by using more talking segments rather than wrestling segments, and I think that's probably a better way to go about it in your go-home show in this circumstance anyways. I mean, you got Brock Lesnar, the champion, he's not going to wrestle on Raw, and we've already seen John Cena and Seth Rollins 1,000 times. In the main event, we saw it again, a 3-on-1 handicap match, and man, when Sting came out, oh my god. Unbelievable. I mean, I had a big feeling he was going to come out anyways. You know, there was huge rumors that he was going to be there. It's in his hometown. He now lives in Dallas, Texas. I think it was in Dallas. So he now lives there, so I kind of suspected he would be there, but I was just crossing my fingers hoping. And then when I saw his face on the screen, you know, it was funny. I was laying back in my chair just watching, going, oh my god, this is fucking John Cena versus Kane, Big Show, Rollins. How many times have we seen this? I'm just kicking back in my chair, then Sting's face pops up on my screen, and I just kick up. I just kick up out of my chair and go, holy shit, it's Sting. And I was pumped, man. And then Brock Lesnar coming out at the end just was the icing on the cake. Great finisher to the show. I just thought the finishing to the show just left me begging for the Royal Rumble. I was so pumped. I mean, I even went back and rewatched it, and I was still pumped after rewatching it. I was like, wow, this is great. Cannot wait. So, decent show in the end. It was nice to see some legends on, and I think, you know, they've sold the Royal Rumble enough for me. If not the other matches, at least the main event. So, not too bad. This is from Joe Normal. Who is your favourite return on this week's Raw? It probably would be Sting, I think. You know, obviously, like I just said, it was good seeing Sting back, and it was a really kind of well-played, thought-out kind of way to get him back. I mean, I think making us wait a long time and just subtly mentioning Sting here and there was a pretty decent way to go about it. I thought we probably should have seen Sting by now, but I'm kind of happy that they waited, because it meant a lot more when he came out and screwed over Triple H again. So that's now twice that Triple H has been screwed over by Sting. So it just adds a lot of fuel to the fire, and maybe there might be a third time that Sting gets him, and then Triple H finally says, you know what, screw this, Sting, come out here, you and me right now. Something, you know, you and me WrestleMania, something like that, and get the WrestleMania kind of build up going. So the storyline is there. It's a slow build up, which I do like, and Sting coming in just in random times. We don't know what he's all about yet. It's still a bit mysterious, which is the Sting character that should be. So looking forward to seeing what happens next with the whole Sting storyline. But it was great to see him back, and always good to see Lesnar there as well. Even though I guess can we call it a return? I mean, it's rare to see Lesnar at any point, but it's always great to see him on the show. But the other guys, the older guys, yeah, we see them here and there, so I'm not really too fussed about it. I think it was more special seeing Sting than any of the other guys, anyways. This one's from the end of Fusion 16. What's your prediction for the Royal Rumble match? Well, I said last week, last episode of Let's Talk Tuesdays. By the way, I apologize for not doing an episode last week. I was on vacation, for all you guys pestering and wondering where's this week's episode. I was away. I said that on Twitter, I said that on Facebook, I think, well, if not, at least on my forums, I let everybody know. So that's kind of your fault for not following me on the Twitter machine, and you're not on my forums, so you don't know what's going on, so get on that. But anyways, I still I don't know, Daniel Bryan was my pick, Roman Reigns has been my pick for a long time. I'm still tossing up between the two. I mean, Dean Ambrose, I don't think it has a chance. Bray Wyatt, I mean, he's looking good. I mean, he beat Daniel Bryan tonight, but I don't think he really has a chance. And the rumor is they want him for the Undertaker anyway, so I don't know. And I just don't know, man. I just think if you do the Daniel Bryan thing, you have the underdog storyline, it writes itself. It's a good storyline, and you can kind of give Bryan the run that he was probably should have had after WrestleMania, but even though they didn't really want him to have it. Or you push the young guy. Is it too soon? Too much too soon? Perhaps. But I mean, it's now, do you wait too long, and do you make that mistake? I mean, how many times have they really never given the ball to anybody? I mean, somebody like Dolph Ziggler could have ran with it and still be running with it by now if they had given the chance. Same with Dean Ambrose, they let him run with it a little bit, but... So I wish I could give you an answer on who definitely is going to win, but that's the beauty of the Royal Rumble. You just never quite know who's going to win. In recent years, we've known smack bang, yep, it's going to be Batista, it's going to be Cena. It's nice to know we have a Rumble this year where there's so many different options that could happen, and it's up in the air, which makes it more exciting for me. So I'm going to stick with Daniel Bryan, though. This one's from Ben. He asks, which surprise/legend entrance do you think will appear at the Royal Rumble? There's a big rumor going around right now that DDP, Diamond Dallas Page, will be entering the Royal Rumble, which would be cool. Sheamus will be in it. I heard that Bo Dallas is going to be in it as well. Who else have we got? Rob Van Dam, I'd say, will probably be in it. Chris Jericho, I could see coming in as well. So I don't think there's going to be too many old-timers coming in. We may see, JBL come in or Booker T come in. But I don't think we're going to see any big-name kind of legends, come in for a spot. Will Sting be in the Rumble? I don't know. I doubt it. I don't think he'll be in the Royal Rumble. So I don't think there's going to be any huge old guys coming in and for a surprise return. I think it's going to be mainly some current day roster guys returning and some bigger names like RVD and Jericho and maybe the odd guy like DDP coming in and Booker T, for example. So yeah, I don't think there's going to be too much. They kind of already spoiled Sheamus's return anyway, so I think the WWE just like spoiling every return. They don't like any returns happening at the Royal Rumble nowadays, which is just absolutely stupid to me. This one's from Bailey14. He wants to know what I thought about both of the Legends segments, the Rumble panel and the Tag Team Reunion. Well, I'll touch on this quickly. I thought, like I said earlier, the Royal Rumble panel is what it is. Very standard. expected. I thought they're probably going to have John Cena come out there and, talk about if he can overcome the odds, the triple threat match, but luckily we didn't get that tonight. At least they actually talked about the Royal Rumble, and it was a nice touch that was 3 guys that have won the Royal Rumble in the past, and big Royal Rumble matches as well, so that was kind of cool. As for the tag team match, I mean, the Ascension, Jesus Christ, they suck. Like I said, they're done, and they pretty much are done. I think, honestly, at the Royal Rumble, the New Age Outlaws will beat them. I would nearly guarantee that they will beat them. You think that the New Age Outlaws will put them over? I have a feeling they'll beat them and just bring the Ascension back down to NXT, to the minors, or repackage them, or take them off TV for 3 months. I don't know, but the Ascension are done. They're a joke. I laughed at them, when they were cutting their promo. I laughed. I was just like, wow, really? I just can't take them seriously, and I don't think anybody can. And I mean, look at Kevin Nash. He was fucking 6'10", absolutely towering over these other guys, and these guys were trying to act intimidating and trying to act like tough guys that they could beat Kevin Nash up. Even though he looks like a grandpa, I think Grandpa Nash could still kick Connor and Victor's ass. So it's just a joke, and they're playing off the whole, oh, we're better than all these legendary tag teams. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do bring back some big name tag teams to face these guys, and that could be their gimmick. It could be like the Heath Slater of the tag teams. Instead of having singles matches against all these legends, they might bring back all these legendary tag teams. Maybe like Team 3D or the Dudley Boys, whatever you want to call them, will come back. So something like that would be pretty cool. But look, if they go on to beat them all and they basically prove that they're the best tag team and they actually legitimize this tag team, then it will work out fantastic. But right now, they're just an absolute joke. So when they got beat up on Raw, I kind of smiled. I was kind of happy. I mean, they're almost entering Adam Rose level. I can almost turn off my TV when I see them. If they keep doing this badly, they're going to enter the Adam Rose and Santino level and the Bunny level for me. Or add El Torito onto that list as well, and Hornswoggle. So they don't want to get down that level, but they're getting very close. So they really do need to do something with their gimmick and repackage them ASAP, or they are finished. This one's from Azazel WP. Looking at the past few weeks, do you think Rollins could be a better choice as the star to focus on instead of Roman Reigns? Well, you think about it, they already are giving Seth Rollins more TV time than Roman Reigns. Seth Rollins is practically the focus of the show every single week, so Seth Rollins is already getting that focus. He's in the main event of the Royal Rumble, the second biggest pay-per-view of the year. So I think, in my mind, it's already happened. I mean, Roman Reigns, if he doesn't win the Royal Rumble, what's he going to do at WrestleMania? I don't know. I mean, he might have a big match against, maybe, I couldn't tell you. We'll probably end up having a match against Kane or some crap. We'll be in a tag team match. So something lame and shitty like that. Or maybe he will face Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, something like that. So, at the moment, it really is Seth Rollins getting the bigger push over Roman Reigns. I guess Seth Rollins loses more than Roman Reigns, but Seth Rollins, he gets 15 minutes of promo time every single week. He has a 10-15 minute match on Raw every single week. He's out there in the opening segment every single week. He's in the main event of Raw every single week. Whereas Roman Reigns, he might get a match, a squash match every week in a 30-second promo, and that's it. So Reigns is definitely not getting a bigger push than Seth Rollins at the moment. But of course, if Reigns wins the Royal Rumble, goes on the main event at WrestleMania, then that will all change. But at the moment, as we're speaking, it's certainly Seth Rollins is more of the star right now that they're pushing instead of Roman Reigns. This one's from Oliver Griffin. Now the WWE Network has finally released in the UK. What are your thoughts on the network? Well, I had the network since, I think, Extreme Rules, so I've had it for a long time. I got it before it came out in Australia. The network is okay. I mean, they could have done a lot more to the network, and honestly, there's a lot more that they should be doing with it. The fact that there isn't every single Raw, SmackDown, Heat, Velocity, all that is beyond me. I don't really care all that much about the 80s and early 90s stuff just quite yet. I haven't gone back that far. I want to get there. I will when the time's right. But I kind of want to relive, the guys of the era that I grew up watching. And I watched in the Ruthless Aggression era, but also those guys were also in the Attitude Era as well. So I kind of want to watch from the Attitude Era and beyond, and I want to relive that era. And to me, I cannot watch a pay-per-view and really get into it fully without knowing the full backstory and without, you know, watching what's been going on in the weeks beforehand. You know, I started watching WCW Nitro, and I was watching the Nitros and I watched the pay-per-views, and I was able to get it. I was able to go, okay, I know what's going on, I know the storyline behind this match, and, you know, I was able to get into the match. But right now, I can't go back and rewatch the Attitude Era without, you know, all the weeks and weeks of build-up towards it to go along with it. So that's something they definitely need to add. Obviously, some more original content, some newer shows, and they're doing okay with that, in my opinion. But they just need all the old stuff on there. They should just have everything that they've ever produced on the network, and they already have it all. They just refuse to upload it to the network for some reason, and that's my biggest grief with it right now. Final question of the day comes from Bailey14. Since the 5-on-5 match is your favourite, what is your dream Survivor Series 5-on-5 match? Well, I spent about 2 minutes on this earlier before I started recording this, and I got a 4-on-4. I didn't get a 5-on-5, and I kind of went for something a little bit different. I went for like the dark, gloomy, you know, the darker kind of characters teaming up against kind of the faces of the company. So what I got, I couldn't think of a fifth dark character person, so I kind of left out. So I just made it 4. But I got Sting, Taker, Kane, Mankind, and I'll have them face Hogan, Cena, Rock, Austin. So these guys are all, you know, always at the top of the card, you know, great characters. So all these guys in their prime taking on the faces of the company, that'd be an interesting match in my opinion. I thought that'd be pretty cool. So I would have obviously the dark, gloomy characters, you know, the heels, and the face of the company, you know, the faces. So thought that'd be pretty cool. That's something I came up with quickly, and let me know in the comment section down below what would be your dream Survivor Series matchup. That's interesting in my opinion. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me in today's episode of Let's Talk Tuesdays. If you did enjoy it, please do leave a like on the video. Make sure you do leave your questions for next week's episode in the comment section down below, or over at the forums at BrendenPlayz.com/forums. Follow me on Twitter at BrendenPlayz, and you keep up to date with everything to do with BrendenPlayz. You could do so as well on the Facebook page, which just reached 300 likes. Thanks so much for liking the page. The link to those are in the description down below. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you all next episode.